Well, hello there. Lesson 7. I'm a little late, but what can you do? I was gathering information for you about it. Today we're going to talk about turning around. It's something you encounter quite often when you're off-roading. You take a wrong turn somewhere, hit a dead end, things like that. You need to turn around and head back. There are many different ways to do this. I've put together some exercises for you, including ones from Chris Birch, and enduro techniques from Larson, plus a few others from Australia, if you know who I mean. So yeah, there will be several sets here, even from Taras. But I won't be repeating Taras's stuff. Sorry, not today. And probably not in this lifetime. So why drag it out? Let's get started. I'll show you the basic types of turns, ones I use most often, and some others you can use, though they're a bit, well, risky, and what other, well, truly impossible turn options there are. Let's absolutely go. So, let's start with the very basic turn, just a regular standard turn. How exactly do we perform it? We carefully angle ourselves a little bit to the side, and now we really need to compress the suspension, effectively using it, and then smoothly roll back. So we compress it down, and then go back, and then back again, repeating the motion. You definitely get the general idea, right? You can certainly do this maneuver and effectively turn yourself around. There's also a distinct variation of this very same turn, but this time you're standing completely up. So you ride up the incline, then turn a little bit, and if the slope of the terrain allows, you can simply just roll back down. If it does not allow for that, you will also need to use the suspension system and then roll back down. After that, everything is simple. Just a regular turn. Something like that. You can already start from here. This is the simplest turn option, which most of you know how to do and already do. You can also do this same maneuver by using the edges of the slope, or more precisely, the edges of the road. Because yes, you can push off with the suspension, but in any case, you're still spending energy on that. But you can ride up, lift the front wheel, and boom, take advantage of that moment. I could already ride out from here, but let's do it one more time. All right, hop. Let's do it one more time. Hop, and again. Hop. And that's it, then I ride on. So those were two super basic ways to turn around. Now let's move on to something more difficult. The way I just showed you, I do turn around like that, but rarely. Most of the time I use other methods. Let's start learning them little by little. And the first one, probably the most suitable for us here, is the elephant turn. Let's do it next to the motorcycle, that is, while standing. You've probably seen this exercise many times. Clutch, steady throttle, look in the direction of the turn, stand closer to the center post, to the handlebars, because the motorcycle should rotate around you. In theory, you can lightly press the brake a little, but most of the time this is done even without the front brake. The main thing is to keep a steady throttle and not be afraid. And look back at first. When you get the hang of it, it's not necessary to look back, but you can. So we lean the motorcycle towards ourselves onto the thigh to shift some weight back. So I'm holding it, lifting it up, giving it some throttle. And spun it there. The main thing here is to catch that exact moment when you've leaned it. You're holding the throttle, you let go, and spin it around yourself. You don't need to hold it on your thigh for a super long time, but as you saw, I was calmly holding it on my thigh. You don't need a lot of strength for this. Let's move on to the next option. Now I'll show you how I usually turn around. This usually happens just by sliding at 90 degrees and then I give it more throttle. As you saw, this exercise is basically a brake at about 90 degrees and then opening up. There's not much space here and it's a bit uphill, so I was also pushing off the ground with my foot, or rather keeping my balance. In theory, I could do this on an open area without using my foot, just brake and turn around. As you've understood, this is a turnaround element around the foot, just a 180-degree turn from a standstill. It's a bit difficult to do. I don't always manage to pull it off, so I rarely use it. Well, let's give it a try. Basically, it's almost the same as the elephant turn, but you have to think faster, because you can't always lean the motorcycle that much. In a controlled way. something like that. This isn't my favorite way to turn around. I prefer to set the bike at 90 degrees using the rear brake and then finish the turn. That feels safer to me. Wow, I've kicked up a lot of dust here. There's another cool option I saw from Chris Birch. Let's try to do it now and then I'll show you a similar move I picked up from Enduro. Or actually, let's start with the Enduro one because it's simpler. Yeah, let's do that. So you ride up like this, right? You approach some kind of obstacle or the end of the road where you need to turn around. You get off the bike on the outside in the direction you want to turn. So over there. And then you do an enduro style move. That means you lean the bike over and drag the rear end around with you. Up, you move it over. That's how you can reposition the motorcycle. And honestly, I wouldn't say it's super hard. Try not to lift it up, but rather drag it. That way it's much easier. So basically the bike is turned around. I can keep riding. Now I'll show you a similar variation but with the engine running, which Chris Birch recommended. You also ride up to some kind of obstacle. Brace yourself, lean the bike onto your thigh, and while holding the front brake tightly, you start to release the clutch and use your thigh to push the wheel from the outside. If your wheel starts slipping, it will begin to turn, slowly. I've never done this before, so I'll try it now together with you. I don't know how it'll turn out. Yeah, for me it just digs in more. Maybe this is meant for harder ground. Oh, it's even standing on its own. That's how much it dug in. If you know how to do this exercise, let me know in the comments. I think if the surface were harder, it could have slipped, but as it is, it just dug in. Of course, there are other ways to do it with repositioning, the so-called tic-tacs from Enduro. Don't forget to subscribe to the Telegram channel. Telegram. We discuss things there, and right now I'm talking a lot about light enduro because it's the season for light enduro training. And for you, probably the season is over, so you can only train on enduro bikes. That's why this might be useful for you as well. But I'm not giving up on the big bikes either, of course. All the training on light enduro bikes is so that I can ride this one better. As for today's topic of turns, you saw some of the options I showed. These aren't all the types of turns that exist, obviously. Write your favorite turn techniques in the comments, and if it's something I didn't show, describe how it's done. I'd love to try it out and see. Maybe it's actually more convenient. Most people usually turn using this jerking motion. I either turn, as I said, with the brake at 90 degrees and then use the throttle. You've probably seen that a lot in my videos. That's the way I like best. Or I use a slope, meaning I use the incline to roll back. But a lot of people probably do that too, because it's practical. I sometimes do the elephant turn next to the bike, but not often. I almost never do the elephant turn around the leg because it's really easy to fall. And in the middle of the day, if you're riding, you're tired and all that, it's just not worth the extra effort. So the main thing is to save your energy. That's why I don't like all this jerking around, because it wastes my strength. But when I use the slope, when I use inertia while braking and turning, I don't use up my own energy. Because efficiency is the most important thing when riding a motorcycle, especially a heavy touring enduro, where you really need to let the bike do all the work. Everything the bike can do for you, it should do, so you don't waste your own energy. This is a heavy motorcycle, and you shouldn't have to exhaust yourself or feel like you're dying riding it. This was Kagi with you. As I said, write your favorite exercises in the comments. Bye bye. Take care.